Hey everyone, today's video topic in NextJS tutorial is pending state with your useFormStatus. In this video, you will learn how to handle the pending state during the form submission using useFormStatus in NextJS application. You will see how these powerful hooks let us disable the submit button while the form is being submitted, enhancing user experience and preventing multiple clicks. But there is a catch. useFormStatus only works in the client component while our form is typically a server component. So, how do we solve this? Stick around and I will show you the clean way to use a client commit button component inside a server component form using server action, like timing. Before demonstrating, I want to show you the example. Let us understand what is pending state or what is useFormStatus using NextJS application. So, here, what is useFormStatus mean? So, it is a type of React hook in NextJS server actions which will be give a real-time status of the last form submission. Here you can see the syntax with the name. It has syntax given below. It consists of a variable called status. We have a constant variable status, and in that we are assigning the useFormStatus to it. So what this particular useFormStatus returns actually? So here there are some methods or there are some properties which is used by useFormStatus while they are returning. So first is the pending state. If it means true, if the parent form is submitting or it is in the process of submit the form. Then we have a data, means data submitted when to the form. Then we have a method, a type of method which you already know, get or post. The form should have any method like get or post. And then we have an action which is a function passed to the form action props. We will also use the pending to disable our submit button while the form is being processed. So let's do a demo of this so that you can clearly understand how we can use form status in NextJS application. So let's move on to the Visual Studio Code. As you know that by default NextJS forms use server action or server component. Okay, you already know that we have a ProductDB server. Then inside that we have a create form status. We have a form object. But if you suppose we want to use the useFormStatus here, so by default this particular page.tsx is belong to using it is a server action, or you can say that it is a server component. And however, the useFormStatus hook is work only on the client component. So if you suppose if you are using like constant status is equal to useFormStatus over here, so you need to change this particular server component into a client component. So I think this is not a better way because you need to change the you need to change your server component to a client component. But by doing so, you are actually you are making the mistakes because you are losing the property of losing the property of server component when you are changing it to a client component. So what is a better way to do it? So here you can see that in the last we have a button called add product. So we can create a submit button as a client component and then we embed it into it. So for this we can create a separate component. For this let's create a separate component. I can create a folder with the name components, and inside this I will create a new file with the name submit button. So submit button I will create a new file inside the component submit button.jsx. I will call it as submit tsx. Okay, then let's create the function for this. I import useFormStatus to it. useFormStatus, and for this we can also create a function to export constant. Then we can create a submit for it. We can create a arrow function to it, and inside which we can return that particular submit button. So what I have write, we can write button, and inside button we can give the property like type is equal to submit. Okay, then we can also give a class name. We use tailwind CSS for it. We can use block. width should be full. Padding should be 2. Text should be white. I will keep it, text should be white. Then we have BG blue as 600, so BG blue at 500. Then it is rounded in format. Then we can give a disable property to it. Disabled background color as BG gray 500. Okay. After that, inside this we can give a property disabled is equal to. We can also call the pending. We can also create a use form status. Use form status function, and we can destructure variable like pending. So we can destructure that. We can give a pending to it. We have a pending status from the use form status. We can use pending in the disabled option. After that, we need to see that we need to destructure this. Need to close this. Okay. Now it got this. Then we can give pending. If pending is correct, then it will give you the submitting. It will give you submitting. Else, it will give you submit. Okay. Now here you can see that we are using the use form status, so we need to use the use client on top of that product, as this is a client component. So we are using the use client directly on top of that. So how this particular button can be used in the page.test set. So let's go there. Now let's remove the button property from here, and we call it as directly from submit. So we can call submit. It is a component which we have just built. So we can make a submit. Okay. If you see on the top that we can just remove other because we are not using the use form status here. So now it is looking fine. Now we are importing the submit from the component which is a client component in the server component. So now let's start a server and see how it will work, how the use form status works in the form submission. So let's start npm run dev. Wait for the server to get started. So here you can see our server get started. Now we reach out to the product server, products-db.server. What is the route we are using? Product-db.server. Okay, products. Press enter over there. So you will see a list of, you will see the form. Okay, now let's submit form. Title. We can type use form status itself. Okay, price could be of $500 and use form status is a React hook. Like when we click on submit, it will show you. It will get show you the submit in a pending state, and after that it will become enable when the form complete. So let's click on submit. So here you can see that submitting is being disabled and the form is being in the process of submitting the data. So here you can see the data is submitted and your form your value get saved in the database use form status. Here you can see the icon over here. So you can see the icon use form status $500 and use form status. Let me make a big. Here you can see the use form status $500 use form status in a React hook form. Okay, so this is how you can use the use form status in the React in the Next.js application. Here in the submit component, in submit button client component, we can use the use form status hook to check if the form is currently being submitting or not. So while the form is in the pending state, it is showing the submitting in a disabled state. After that, once it being complete, it will be show the submit button. So disable the button and showing the loading state. So pattern works perfectly because we are keeping our form view from server side while using the small client component just for the interactive logic. So what is the benefit of this pattern? So there are a number of benefits for this pattern. First of all, first benefit is that it keeps the form logic on the server for better performance and security. Then we have avoid unnecessary hydration by moving only the button to the client side. Then we have smooth user experience with the real-time feedback. So there are some of the key benefits of this pattern. Now, as you already know how to use form status, while we are with the help of creating the separate button in the client component and injecting that particular client component in the server component without making the server component to a client component. So, and at large, we can say that's how you can handle form pending state using use form status in NextJS server action. This pattern helps you stay server centric while adding just the right amount of interactivity. If you find this helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more modern React and NextJS tutorial. Thank you.